Two reasons. One is what happened last year, where I still feel a lot of people found fault with UPSC for the wrong reasons.
This entire process, this lengthy process of collecting information and so on, could also put some fear in the students.
All of us have to remember, last changes were in 2013, major change.
Yes, sir.
10 years are done. It made its recommendation where it's very clearly said all services are of equal importance. This was again repeated by...
Hello everyone, welcome to Amigos IAS. Today we are going to discuss some details about prelims with a very special guest, my guru, mentor and well-wisher Braintree Gopalakrishna sir. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hello, Glenn.
Sir, how are you?
I'm fine.
Sir, so as you know, there is a prelims atmosphere in the circles, right?
Exactly.
And many students have requested me and some even complained to me that UPSC have started asking a lot of details in the form nowadays.
Right, absolutely.
And some people have directly attributed it to the Pooja Ketkar controversy. So, can you please throw some light on why UPSC is asking so many details?
Now, when I look at it, let's say forms that had to be filled up ever since, I think, for the last 33 years, they've never asked so many details. UPSC was one organization which used to say, you fill up the prelims form, just say what category you belong to. We don't need supporting documents. We don't need documents regarding your graduation. We'll check all of them in case you clear the prelims. So it went purely by one, trust. Second, the belief that a candidate who has the worth is the person who's going to pass the prelims. And third, they didn't want this burden of taking in so much of information. And then they would sift through so many forms and all. They didn't want to do all that. Now, this is the first year that this has been done. Two reasons. One is what happened last year, where I still feel a lot of people found fault with UPSC for the wrong reasons. Now, we have to understand that UPSC, though being a constitutional body, is a staff agency, what we call as an auxiliary staff agency. I mean, leaving out the technical terms, it would be something like it is an agency of the government, which will basically conduct the exam, receive the applications, conduct the exam, and then certify the people for appointment. If you remember, the final result always starts with the following people have been certified for appointed.
Yes, sir.
They don't say selected.
Yes, sir.
Selection would be the prerogative of the chief executive. The chief executive of any country has the prerogative of selecting people. That cannot be delegated. It's a sovereign power. Now, making it non-technical, it is a government which has to do it. On behalf of the president, it would be the Department of Personnel which will have to check all these records. Now, last year what happened was, unfortunately, it has perhaps not happened ever before, that UPSC did its job. UPSC went by the certificates that were given by people at the field level. You know, when you give your, there are certain certificates which you attach, which are generated at the field level. Not even at the central level. UPSC goes by that, then certifies it. It would be the Department of Personnel which will have to check that. Now, there was some gap because of which this happened. Now, that is what raised the doubts. So, UPSC basically had to rise to that level. Then they said, first, let us collect data. That is one. I think that is just one small aspect of this whole exercise that's going on. Now, let us look at it that there is an organization that is collecting data about students, nearly 10 lakh students, collecting information about education, their social background, employment opportunities, all those details which they don't require before the prelims. They used to collect some information after the prelims sometimes, before the mains or after the mains. It could be, why did you take this optional, etc., etc. We have what is called as a research and analysis wing in UPSC, where this information went in. And this was given by candidates who qualified at the mains. Now, why is it that would be how many? 2,000? 2,500? Easy to go through. Maybe they can draw their own conclusions. Now, I am now trying to get information from about 10 lakh people and then trying to draw conclusions. What could be the objective? Now, here I think we can look at that there will be one stated objectives, and then there is one latent objective.
Okay.
Now, the stated objective is that collection of information, making sure all information is accurate.
Yes, sir.
People who are giving inaccurate information will be filtered out,
Mm.
and the right people will get the benefit of whichever category they belong to.
Yes, sir.
Good. That's the objective. The next objective is to check who are the people who are writing this exam.
Okay.
What is the social background? What is the, let's say, subject that they've taken in graduation? Are they changing that subject? Are they choosing a different optional?
Okay.
Now, note, all these days we used to check this only during the interview. Maybe at the mains, but even at the mains, perhaps they never used to bother.
Yes, sir.
At the interview, that why are people choosing certain optionals?
Yes, sir.
Now we are trying to check out
Very
from right at the beginning.
Yes,
All the people who aspire to write this exam,
Yeah.
I would like to know which background you come from.
Mm-hmm.
What is your academic qualification? Why are you changing the domain and taking a different optional? I am collecting all this information. Now, based on this information, now government makes changes. This is not the only area where government collects information.
Yes.
Now, notice government does a lot of surveys.
True, sir.
Now, even in the states, the moment a new government comes in, they conduct surveys. Now, these surveys give them information.
Sir.
Based on the information, they formulate policies.
Okay.
So, what I feel personally, it's purely my assumption, and I think this is what is being done, that they are collecting information about a lot of areas, which will help them make policies.
Okay.
Maybe bring about certain changes in the recruitment system with information.
Yes.
Let us not create any such rumor to students that things are changing.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But when information is collected, people basically look at trying to sift the information, draw certain conclusions, and maybe make some recommendations to the government that we can make some changes.
Yes.
All of us have to remember, last changes were in 2013, major change.
Yes, sir.
10 years are done.
Past, yes.
So government will look at it. Government will try to make some changes after public consultation, after giving due amount of time.
Yes, sir.
But this information, which it is loads of information to process.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We might have all our equipment. Still, when they're doing everything,
Yes, sir.
it is purely because they would like to analyze, make the exam more relevant to the needs of the country and also match it with the abilities of the student.
Yes, sir. Can we also draw this conclusion, sir? Like this entire process, this lengthy process of collecting information and so on, could also put some fear in the students, like
Right.
who even want to rig the system to a certain extent. Like I don't belong to OBC, but I want to bring an OBC certificate. So because they are asking such elaborated data, that
Exactly.
thought is removed from my mind.
Yeah, that's right. Basically, the point is the wording. But who would perhaps belong to the creamy layer, who would not belong to the creamy layer. That has been a major issue.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Every year I get a lot of inquiries whether people belong to it or they don't belong.
Okay.
And for a majority of them, I have to tell them they belong.
Okay.
People who have the right
Yes, sir.
don't know that,
They are
this is the criteria.
they belong to creamy layer.
For example, a government servant, the income criteria doesn't apply.
Yes, sir. Yes,
A lot
sir.
of people don't know that.
Yes, sir.
That is one.
Yes, sir.
Clarify things. Second, yes, for anybody who is perhaps trying to, manipulate or whatever it is, which I still feel not many would do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Still, it would put a kind of fear in a student, because once you make a mistake, government would have the right to say that you made a mistake,
Yes,
and
sir.
perhaps they can come out and say you can't write any other exam.
And one more way to look at it is like the reforms may not be from UPSC perspective. They can also be from how certificates are issued,
Exactly.
how leniently they are issuing the certificates, etc.
Now, in fact, the feedback now is they become very strict in issuing certificates.
Yes, sir. That's
So I think the dysfunction of this, as people at the field level
yes, sir.
who used to issue certificates,
Very
saying, okay,
easy.
the candidate deserves it. Now they're checking out or being very, very careful in issuing.
Yes, sir.
So the student definitely perhaps is going through a slightly tough time.
So can we sum up this particular part of the discussion by saying that whatever the Pooja Ketkar controversy have brought in will or probably have already brought some systemic reforms?
You always require an incident to bring about reforms. When things are going on without any problem, that is status quo.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There has been an issue. That issue has been discussed in detail. We need not go into it.
Yes, sir.
But all this information which UPSC is collecting is basically signaling that there are going to be certain changes I repeat, changes need not be in the examination system. Changes could be in the deserving people getting it, or at least the government projecting that they're doing their best to make sure people who deserve the reservation, people who deserve to get in, will be the people who will get in. So I feel it's a step in the right direction. Initially, it will be painful to the student till they understand why all this being is done. Yes, there are minor glitches. People have not been able to fill up the forms properly. The system is not working, because of which they extended the date. But I'm sure government has the capacity, and they will make sure that all these issues are resolved. They've also given students a chance to change.
Yes, sir.
One point here, what we have to look at is, why have they asked for preference of services?
Yes, sir.
I just want to give this as an example.
Yes, sir.
For students, aspirants are watching it. There was a recommendation long back, about I think 15 to 20 years back, that why not we have an exam only for IPS separately.
Yes, sir. Or IFS.
IFS.
Yes, sir.
Today, what's happening, Kalyan, is what we notice. Most of the people, I would say 95%, give IAS as their first preference.
Yes, sir.
IPS is my second, which means it's not my first. I don't have liking, or I don't have love for that kind of a job. I don't have passion for it. Now, something like a railway traffic service, which I would say is an excellent service. You're doing so much of service to people if you're able to run trains on time and run them properly, safely, etc. Comes in only because you didn't get some other service.
Yes, sir.
So right from the beginning, 79 onwards, 75 when Kothari committee came in, it made its recommendation where it's very clearly said all services are of equal importance.
Okay.
This was again repeated by Satish Chandra committee, that we are not making any difference between the services.
Okay.
Perhaps the government wants to look at that, can we have a separate exam for separate services?
Yes, sir. Yes.
I would say perhaps you're going back to prior to 79, where you had separate exams for Group A, separate exam for IPS, separate exam for IAS, more marks for the interview for IFS. You have to fit in the right person.
True, sir.
You can't have, square pegs in round holes. You require the right person for the right job, which perhaps the government has started this exercise. I would just look at this as the beginning. More changes are yet to come, and I think the changes will be good.
Yes, sir.
For the country as such, as we are proceeding.
We can even think of it like this, like railway management service. They try to do a reform. Now they are again splitting it into different.
Specifically, railway management was when they included the technical services.
Yes,
now that becomes slightly difficult. Generalist services, which you have that railway, traffic, railway personnel, railway accounts, could perhaps be brought under one segment again, and you can call it as railway management service non-technical.
Yes, sir. True.
But all these are changes,
trial and error,
which they will go through.
Yes, sir.
They will go through that. As long as students don't suffer in the service that they would be getting, I think these changes are warranted. And I still feel, in my experience, I have seen very, very few people giving IPS as their first option.
Yes, sir.
Because they had passion for it.
True, sir.
There are a lot of people who have passion for that. Sir. So give them a chance, maybe have maybe a different exam.
Yes, sir.
Where you could have a bit of law, etc., etc. We don't know on what terms the government is thinking, but preference for relevance.
Yes, sir.
That also is something that will come in. So I feel a bit of difficulty initially while filling up the form, bit of irritation to the students, but lot of good things are perhaps
in the store. Yes, sir. Very nicely put, sir.